Evening everyone. I know it's been a long time since I've made a video on my English channel. The fact of the matter is I've been focusing on my Afrikaans channel for the last few months, a bit more. It is a bigger channel than this, my English channel. Well, I wanted to go through a few verses. Some of them people don't really look at much concerning concerning the short season of deception. So I wanted to go through a few of these, explain a bit, and some of it is concerning excuses people use to say that the short season of deception hasn't come yet. And let's look at a few of these verses. One very clear evidence for me is the first one I'm going to show you. And this shows that Revelation was fulfilled. Let's look at this. Look, Luke 23 verse 28. But Yahushua turning to them said, Daughters of Jerusalem, do not weep for me. This is at Yahushua's crucifixion. And the women were crying seeing him being crucified. And Yahushua told them, Daughters of Jerusalem, do not weep for me, but weep for yourselves and for your children. For indeed the days are coming in which they will say, Blessed are the barren wombs that never bore, and breasts which never nursed. Then they will begin to say to the mountains, Fall on us, and to the hills, cover us. So, we see that Yahushua says, the children of these women at his crucifixion, he said, their children will say these words, let the mountains fall on us, let the hills cover us. So where does it say that? Revelation 6:16. Let's start with verse 15. And I want to show you this one word here should be land, not earth. And when you look at the Greek, it says that it can be land. And the kings of the land, and this is referring to Judah, because Revelation talks about the judgment of Judah, the final judgment of Judah. Because the 10.5 tribes have been judged already, long ago, and now Revelation talks about the final judgment of Judah, the 2.5 tribes. And the kings of the land, the great men, the rich men, the commanders, the mighty men, these are all referring to Judah's 2.5 tribes. Every slave, every free man hid themselves in the caves and in the rocks of the mountains, and said to the mountains and rocks, Fall on us, and hide us from the face of him who sits on the throne, and from the wrath of the Lamb, for the great day of his wrath has come, and who is able to stand? Clearly, people, this is a direct reference to the words of Yahushua here. He says, your children, women, will say, mountains fall on us, hills cover us. Exactly the same thing here. Fall on us, hide us from the face of him who sits on the throne. So this is a clear reference to when this happened in Revelation 6. Not today, people. It happened in with the children of the women who saw Yahushua's crucifixion. It happened in their generation. That's when this was fulfilled. So it clearly shows us that it's not going to fulfill today. It already did, long ago, around 70 CE. This is also talking about the destruction of Jerusalem, the temple and the surrounding cities, where Rome went in and they conquered all of Judea. Let's hear Matthew 16:28. Yahushua says, Assuredly I say to you, some of you standing here shall not taste death till they see the Son of Man coming in his kingdom. A clear reference of his second coming, and some of his disciples will still be alive. And then people want to say, but this was fulfilled with his transfiguration. Some of the disciples saw him change at his transfiguration. But that is not his second coming, people. He's talking about his second coming, and let's see what he says about his second coming. Here in Matthew 24 verse 31, and he will send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet, and they will gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of the heaven to the others. We see here part of his second coming is his angels coming with him. So with his transfiguration, was there angels present? No, there wasn't, because it's not his second coming. Then we also have this where Yahushua tells Caiaphas the high priest, "It is as you said, nevertheless I say to you, hereafter you will see the Son of Man sitting at the right hand of the power of Yahuwah, and coming on the clouds of heaven." He tells Caiaphas he will see his second coming. So, was Caiaphas there in the garden when Yahushua was transfigured? No, he wasn't. So this all again proves that his transfiguration has nothing to do with his second coming or with the disciples still being alive. We see here Caiaphas will be alive and see his second coming. And when you look at Revelation 1 verse 7, the Roman soldiers who nailed him to the pole, they will also be alive and see his second coming. So people, it clearly happened already. And we also see when the millennial kingdom will start. The Bible tells us when these things will start. And we see here in Daniel 7 about the fourth beast. Remember, the fourth beast is Rome. Remember the statue of Daniel 2 of the four kingdoms. Now the fourth beast is Rome. The fourth beast shall be a fourth kingdom on earth, which shall be different from the other kingdoms, and shall devour the whole earth, trample it and break it in pieces. Of course, this whole earth just refers to the specific areas that Rome ruled over. They didn't rule over the physical whole earth. But we see in Luke 2 verse 1 that the area that Rome conquered were considered the whole earth. The 10 horns are 10 kings who shall arise from this kingdom, and another shall rise after them. He shall be different from the first ones, and shall subdue 3 kings. Now, let me quickly explain this. The 10 kings is the 10 Caesars, and the 10th one was Flavius Vespasian. And what make the 11th one different, which is his son, Titus Vespasian, was that Flavius and Titus were crowned together to rule over Rome as Caesars. Both of them became Caesars at the same time. They're like 2 heads replacing the 1 head of Nero when he died. And the fact of the matter is, it's different since Titus was a Caesar like his father, but he was still subservient to his father. He wasn't a Caesar that alone ruled over the kingdom. Flavius fulfilled a role, and Titus was subservient to him. And that made him different from the others. The fact of the matter is, this little horn of Daniel is Titus Vespasian. He shall speak pompous words against the Most High, shall persecute, and this is all written up in Flavius Josephus' histories. You can go look it up. The Flavius Josephus writes about the pompous words of Titus Vespasian and how he blasphemed Yahuwah and the Judeans. So he fulfills the role of the little horn. The saints of, and it says here, he shall speak pompous words against the Most High, shall persecute the saints of the Most High, and shall intend to change times and laws. Remember, how did he change times and laws? He destroyed the temple. The laws said that people must go there to sacrifice at certain times of the year, and when he destroyed the temple, that was to change times and laws. It will affect times and laws, of course, because it will affect the festivals, and it will affect the Aaronic priesthood. So he did change these things by destroying the temple. And then the saints shall be given into his hands for a time, times and half a time, 3.5 years. This people refers directly to what happened between 66 and 70 CE. And not 66, 70, but the war started, you could say, after Nero's death, and it started around 69 to 73. 72, 73. And that's, if you work it out, 3.5 years. You can go look up somebody who worked it out well as Revelation Revolution, that website. He goes through these chapters talking about the 3.5 years, but this was fulfilled around 70 CE, people. Titus Vespasian destroyed the temple. He subdued Judea. He killed thousands of Judeans. He killed a lot of saints. He killed a lot of believers. And so he is the one who fulfills this role. But the court shall be seated, and they shall take away his dominion to consume and destroy it forever. You see, it shows here that Titus Vespasian was the last ruler before Yahushua's millennial kingdom would start. Now you can go look up until when he ruled. I think it says it's 76 CE. So then the kingdom and dominion and the greatness of the kingdoms under the whole heavens shall be given to the people, the saints of the Most High. His kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and all dominions shall serve and obey him. We see here, after this, Titus Vespasian starts the millennial kingdom. So when would that start, people? When did Titus Vespasian rule? We see he ruled with his father, and his rule extended a bit longer than his father. And like I said, if you go look it up, but I think it's 76 CE. So let's say 76 to 80 CE. That's the time when Yahushua came back, his second coming, and he took over all the kingdoms of the earth, and he ruled with an iron scepter during the millennial kingdom. That's when it started. The Bible tells us when these things happen. We see in Daniel 2 that Yahushua's millennial kingdom, it destroys the 10 toes of iron and clay. The clay refers to Israel. Israel is always referred to as clay in the potter's hands. And the iron always refers to Rome in the Bible. So we see there's a mix of them. That means Rome is ruling over Judea. That's why it's partly iron, partly clay. And then we see that the 10 toes, those 10 rulers, would be the last. The 10 Caesars, they will be the last rulers of this Roman kingdom. Then the millennial kingdom will start, because the rock comes down and destroys the whole statue. It destroys the feet first, but the whole statue must submit. All these other nations must submit under his rulership. And the fact that he destroys this statue also means that he will do things differently from the way they did it. The way they ruled, he will rule differently. And that's what it means. And it, again there in Daniel 2, shows when this happened. It shows that the 10 Caesars were the last Caesars. The 11th Caesar was crowned Caesar with his father, which makes him, you could say, part of the 10. And that's why he is different, because he was subservient to his father. And if you go read up the histories, 3 of these Caesars were removed within 1 year. Within a few months, 3 of them fell. Just like this Daniel 7 says. People, these things already happened. We're not waiting for any of this to happen. It was all fulfilled around 70 CE. And so now you see a few extra evidences, proofs of these things fulfilling back in the day. We are in the short season of deception now. Yeah, we can see everything's getting ready for the white Israel, or the Israel nations, to be attacked worldwide, because the second Exodus must happen soon. So, as we see in Revelation 20, Lucifer is using Russia and his allies to conquer the world first, to grow in stature, in power, and then finally there will be a battle of Gog of Magog, where he surrounds the camp of the believers at the bottom of Africa. I've got videos on all these things, proofs from the Bible that where the battle of Gog of Magog will take place. It's not the North Pole, people. And it gives you specific names of the places they're going to attack. And I show you in my videos where these places are today. And they are all in the bottom part of Africa. Mozambique, Zimbabwe, the north part of South Africa. Is those places. Ophir, and the other two that's mentioned there, Deodan, Ophir, and there's another one. But anyways, that is in Zechariah 38. So yes, there we have it. Things are coming to an end soon, and yeah, we're all looking forward to it probably. But before that, a lot of bad stuff will happen before Yahweh, or while Yahweh is gathering his believers, his Israel believers, to that one place with the second Exodus. And I just want to mention that's also why there is going to be a 3 days of darkness, just like the first Exodus. And the second Exodus, there will be 3 days of darkness. Go look up videos on the 3 days of darkness. Everybody says that it's going to be soon. People, when that happens, that is a sign that the second Exodus will start just after that. Because just after the 3 days of darkness of the first Exodus, there was just the killing of the firstborn, and then they left Egypt. So we see with this time around, the 3 days of darkness will go hand in hand with the killing of the firstborn. People who are outside their houses will be killed by demons in the 3 days of darkness. The 9th and 10th plague will happen together, and will be fulfilled together this time. And that will be the start of the second Exodus. And yes, that's it. Enjoy your day.